It's been 8 years now since he started Doxa Kabod. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Mr. Lefa Khanare, and the main motive is to ensure that you are motivated to start a business. Welcome to the entrepreneur. My name is Mpho Mots'oene, and we are going to dive deeper into the life of Lefa Khanare. And as I mentioned, he's been into this business of fashion for over 8 years now. And I'm very happy that we are discussing this topic that resonates so much with me because you can already see how I'm looking right now. I had to make sure that when we have him, I have to look the part. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we are joined by Ntate Lefa Khanare on The Entrepreneur. Please give yourself a round of applause.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. I'm really humbled to be here. How did you end up picking me, though? How many people out there could have done it?
I think
I feel honored, really.
it goes without saying. I feel like everybody is talking about you, not only talking about you,
Mhm.
but also the fact that you're doing such an amazing job, you know.
Thank
Go
you.
bonolo hore motho a ka o bona.
Yeah.
How tsama
Yeah.
mo fela, we already know. That is Doxa. Do not even know your real name. That's about Doxa and Kabod. Welcome
Yeah.
to the entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, and I'm really humbled to be here, like I said. And I want to say hi to everybody who's watching. And I think when you said people really love this, I love it how people, look at you when you're there. And sometimes they don't even know the struggle that you go through from behind it seems, And also, like you mentioned, when that how some are more felt like people say that's about dogs, that's good attention.
You already
Sometimes unnecessarily.
I can tell this is going to be such an interesting conversation
Yeah.
because you're a very vocal person.
Yeah,
And that is
yeah.
what this is
It's all
definitely about.
Yeah.
So, just an icebreaker.
Mhm.
Looking at my outfit,
Yeah.
since you're into fashion and all of that, I want to understand if you were to add something or remove something, what would it be? How shall I?
Don't put me on
My
the spot.
outfit.
Don't put me on the spot. I'm just somebody who sells. I'm not a fish. But look, man, you're looking amazing. I love that. No. You look amazing. You look amazing. Like, for real. Here's the thing. I always say that when you are wearing something, colors communicate.
Yeah.
And I've seen people do like say you're wearing a bit of I'm also color conscious. Lest I just say this is pink, right?
Yeah.
It's
I want to believe so.
I hope so. That's what I'm saying. I want to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
Now you've got that pink with stripes of white, and then you've got a white shirt. So now you understand. Now you've got two colors that are communicating. And man, sometimes you see things. Somebody's wearing pink.
Yeah.
The shirt is yellow, and then the tie is maroon.
And there's also like
and then there's a pocket square,
something.
and then it's green, and then the flower is
It's just a lot of mess.
I know. So you've got a lot of colors are coming in. So
Yeah.
I always say sometimes less is more, and this is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Never mind me. I couldn't find.
No, you look amazing.
I'm gaining weight, so these are the only things I could.
Why are you explaining?
I'm trying to say people don't like look at me and say, but you said, and then you are.
Let's get into the business of
Let's get into it. Yeah.
I really want to get into where you come from and when the love for business particularly started, because I think I knew you. I was telling you that we worked together. I think it was around 2017, 18, around that time. But I really want you to go deeper, a bit deeper into who you are and when the love for fashion and business in particular started.
All right. My story is a bit long, but I'll try to cut it short.
Yes, please.
I think my love for fashion started when I was in high school. I remember I was doing my from B back in those days. I know they now call them grade whatever. In my days it was from B. You understand? So when I was in that age, I was part of joined a basketball team and all of that. And then I saw a lot of people started to discover different kind of styles and all of that. And I loved it. So from my background at home, I wasn't as privileged to access all of that. I remember I sat down, there was a teacher of mine, very close friend of mine even today, wearing some nice sneakers. I would tell my mom, hey man, I gotta have those. My mom said, look, you work so hard, go to university, you can have anything you want. So I grew up knowing that, look, I can't have it, but I'll have it later. So when I got to university, Oh my
You
goodness. I
made
made
it
sure.
point.
At the time, at university, it was a sad time. The manpower would give you a lump sum for you to sustain for the whole semester. My goodness. I ripped havoc of the money. I took it all, bought some clothes. I couldn't even buy a laptop. And I only discovered that I was trying to fill in the void that has always been there from the upcoming. So I think it started there. I knew I couldn't have it. So it was like, now it's my time for payback. And I've always been that person who tries in a bizarre way, even at school, tries my own way, had my own style, had my own, I don't know where it comes from, but I guess somehow some things you're born with them,
Yeah.
So for me, that has always been. Then when I realized that there is an opportunity for entrepreneurship, the other day, some friends had some t-shirts that didn't really go the way they wanted it to be. Then the logos were missing, all of that. So they thought, this is a way, so we're going to just sell this for I remember the day was for $30. And I said, hey man, you've got 20 t-shirts. And another person, I'm a loud person, I'm a people's person, so
of course.
So I know a lot of people, and I think that works to my advantage, especially when you're a businessman. So what I did was, okay, give me the t-shirts, let me see if I could get to buy them. So I took them for them for $30. Well, I didn't give them the money then. I said, look, give me some time, let me just buy them all from you. And then I took all the 20. By the end of the day, all the t-shirts were gone. Well, of course, I gave them with anticipation to get the money later, but it worked. And then that's when I realized, hey, there's something here. And then from there, I graduated into having my own. I remember at the time it was varsity swag. Then it started there. I sold some t-shirts, hoodies, and all of that. And that's where the business world grew inside of me.
Love it.
To where it is now. Well, how I actually got into Doxa was that in about 2016, I had a friend of mine who was in Joburg. You know how there's a saying that Lesotho is always like 30 years behind. So
True.
at the time, that was a time where the happy socks were like trending, and then your knitted ties, those thick ones, they said ties and someone said it thick, That's when they were trending, and they were just getting into the fashion world. And now we had few of those. I had access to those, and people would always be asking, where did you get that? Where did you get that? And I was like, hey man, I have a friend. Until I got tired about it, it's like, oh, you give me $100, and then
Gonna get it.
I realized, hey, there's money here, because people were continuously asking. So that's how it started, and then I bought a few things, put them in my house, started selling them via WhatsApp, sending them to people who would be interested, and then I realized that's how it was.
Oh, lovely, man.
That's how it was.
One of the challenges that people have when it comes to starting and managing a business is the start. In terms of capital, because into business, but the main challenge is the capital.
I think I was privileged in a way. If I told myself how I started, I think anybody could start. I think we overhype the idea that money is a problem, while the mentality really is. Don't get me wrong. Look, how I started when I was done at school, varsity, I didn't have a job, didn't have anything. I had a wife and a kid. So I took out literally, I started my business coming quickly in Media Orange. My dad the other day gave me some money. I was like, okay, look, I gotta do something. I'm a grown up now. So I took 2 bags of oranges, literally 2 bags of oranges. I pray to the point that people get to a point where your story doesn't really correlate with you anymore. Because when I remember that, look, I don't have a reason to lie. People who know me, they know me from there. So that's why I started. And then one other time, the one lady said something to me. It's like, look, we can't buy oranges all the time because it's a household. Why not try town? It's like, town? Like, yeah, but why not? Then I came to town. I would come into offices and office spaces where I had friends. When you've been from varsity and then you see your colleagues that are there, you get into the office, they're nice and all of that. And then you are with your box of apples and fruits. It feels, you go back crying. There were times where I went crying to my wife, but that's where it started. And as I was doing that, I was able to pay small bills that could keep me going. Then one other lady said, hey, look, I see how hard you're working. Actually, what did you do? I'm like, I actually have a degree. Hey, for real, bring your stuff. Bring your CV. Let's see what we could do. I gave a CV on Thursday. Monday, I had a job. So then from having a job, that's when I said I had a friend of mine who, because I was wearing formal all the time. So I then had these people who would be saying, look, I need this. Where'd you get this? I need this. That's how the business grew.
Mhm.
And then obviously we don't have money. The bank is your friend. But what I'm trying to say is that we need to transition from do something so that the bank can recognize that what you are doing. You understand? So if there's anything, I say start where you are. Don't you have a big dream, but finance it small. Small steps that will take you there. Not tell you, let's say, for my brother. And a lot of people, but especially around government complex, they know me to this day because that's where I use that as a territory. I'll sell them fruits there all the time.
Oh man,
all the time.
I love that. It also speaks to what do I even say? You understand? For you to also have a story to tell as well. They were able to recognize you out of that itself. So I absolutely love that. Now we have Doxa happening. It has started now. Tell me, what are some of the challenges now that Doxa now has started 2017? Then what happens?
Then we started, of course, like any other business. When I started, the story of business is funny. I didn't have when you're starting, one of the challenges in town is to have a place where you're selling from, right? Because now you don't have enough to sustain you for rent. Rent is expensive. One of the hardest expensive.
Just opposite where you're working right now.
But before then, I worked lenses in. Literally. Until the other time, the guys by MCC came to me and was like, look, man, you can't be selling theaters at 1,000 or selling theaters at too good. Go find a place, man.
Okay.
Literally, they came to me and said, look, man, you can't be, we're not celebrity, get out of here. This place is for small people. It was painful at the time because how much I felt like immediately like, no, you can't be here. First of all, you feel like, no, somebody's hating me on something. But you don't understand that some of the challenges are what's making you. I had to go fend for myself. When you're selling clothes, you'd expect to be somewhere where people see you. I had to go up, like the last floor, up. It was like the fourth floor, I think. You remember those days?
Yes.
Fourth floor. Imagine how do you sell clothes from the fourth floor? But here's the thing. People who are able to understand that challenges are the way that help you to adapt like any other are the people who really make it in life.
Love it. Yes, we're going to continue with that. I'm already getting the feel of where we are going. Ladies and gentlemen, this is still The Entrepreneur with Patrick Mots'oene. And our main motive, you understand? Stay with us. We'll be talking about all things marketing the business and also some of the achievements that Doxa and Kabod.
Hi, I'm Lerato Chawana and I have great news on how you can transform your business without breaking the bank. Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Khaya TV Plus has revolutionized TV advertising for small businesses. Get your message in front of millions across Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and other major streaming TV platforms. Khaya TV, inspiring youth.
And we are back. This is still The Entrepreneur with myself, the ever so awesome Patrick Mots'oene. And this morning we are talking all things fashion, all things style, elegance, class, because that is who I am and what Lefa Khanare is as well. Ndati, what other challenges then did you meet on the way? How Gala Doxa and Kabod, and how did you navigate through those challenges?
I think the common one is, remember when I said we think money is a problem. Well, it is a problem, don't want to lie, but I think we overhype it in the sense that any business when it starts, the more money you have, the easier, a lot of things could be for you. But one other problem that I've also seen is that most of us are groomed or built from an environment of, or we are built for corporate service.
Absolutely.
You understand?
That's true.
So if I'm starting a business, I know nothing about business. So the first thing that comes to mind is, look, I'm starting a business so I could have money. You start with the wrong concepts. You start with the wrong intentions and the wrong purpose. You
Mm.
want to be rich. I want to make it.
Yeah.
So look, in as small as they are, when the motive is wrong, you're gonna see it out in the actions. Any amount that comes in, you don't have an expansion mentality. You understand? You don't have, how am I going to keep improving to get better?
Yes.
How do I improve on my service? The whole focus is how much money are we making? Is it really making enough money? You understand? So that was a bad fall for me back then, until I had to realize I met people who groomed me into the understanding of business. So one of the problems and the challenges is this, that we go into business spaces that we know nothing about. So for me, it was my first time to be in that kind of environment with that kind. And I had a good thing, but I almost lost it all because I knew nothing about the game, if I put it that way. So I had to find people who could mentor me into it. I created relations, and I think association is very important because you develop in something better. I always say this: if you have to go to school for 20 years trying to be who you are, or better fitted for the office space, then imagine how much training you need for you to run the office space yourself. So we never have that. Nobody grooms us into that. So I had to grow beyond, because they always say that your business, your ceiling or your level of knowledge is the one that's limiting the business you're trying to. The business can, if it outgrows you, you want to bring it back to meet the level you're on.
Yes.
So what I'm saying.
Yes.
So if your level is still down there, then it means the business itself also is going to be down there.
Yeah.
So that has been a challenge. So most people who want to get into business, I always say this: look, don't get into business without really understanding the know-hows, understanding the game itself, because you're gonna save a lot of time. You're gonna save a lot of misery. You're gonna save, among others, you're gonna save a lot of money, and you gotta get there quicker. I was just making an example. Like I love what when I was coming here, for example. Just want to make a quick example with this one. If you told me like, okay, take the first junction, I tried that. But when somebody just sent you GPS, my brother, it makes everything
easy.
Because and I think you need somebody like that in life for any kind of area of your life. You need somebody who's been there, who knows the way, who could say, look, instead of you learning how to get there, let me give you this so that you could get there. You understand? You need that kind of people you surround yourself with. So for me, that has been one of the key things that I've seen that has helped me a lot. And I always say this: I think we are a generation that has everything in our hands, in the palm of our hands. When you have a smart device, you've got everything. You've got free schooling there. You've got good people like this channel, for example. This is a good platform for people to learn. You see what I'm saying? So if we utilize this kind of platforms that we have, then somebody's learning something. Somebody's learning from. You don't have to do the same mistakes that I did. I have people come to me and say, look, man, please help me out here. I'm like, look, sure, I love what you're doing. How much do I pay? I'm like, pay for what? Nobody made me pay for this. I'm going to hand it over for you for free. Why? Because if you are successful in your line of business, I become successful.
Absolutely.
And damn sure, even for people who we are in competition with. And I think that's one other thing. When I started, I thought competition is, it's going to kill me. Competition is killing me. So I've always been on competition. Then I realized, hey man, nobody was selling suits before I started. I'm proud to say that, okay, people were selling suits, but nobody changed the game like I did.
Yes.
So anyone who's trying to come after me, I need to show that I'm a leader. Now, what do leaders do? You don't look back and see how far other people. You keep going. Try to be a trailblazer. Try to realize, what can I do that makes me stay at the level that I'm at top of my game. And I'm not saying this out of pride, but I'm saying this out of understanding the game. That anyone who's trying to be beat me at the game, they're going to have a problem. Number one, financial muscle for them to get to where I am. It took me 8 years to be here.
Yes.
You're trying to do it in 3 months. You don't have the amounts that I have. You don't have affiliation with the bank the way I do it. You understand? I'm not being cocky. I'm trying to say, somehow in the game, you need to understand your game to realize the advantages that you have, to understand where you are so much that the people who are still coming up, you can be able to say, look, I can extend a hand and help you. I literally have people come to me and say, look, man, but we're not going to do Doxa because we do this. I'm like, look, try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm.
At least try to copy what I'm doing and do it better than I'm doing.
Yeah, I absolutely love this.
Because I don't see them as competition.
Mm.
I they are competition, but I don't perceive them in that direction. Because I'm saying these are the people that really help me to get far away.
Yeah.
As I try to run away from that, I'm advancing. I'm learning new skills. I'm learning new ways of doing things.
You're mentioning something that is so profound that I think mentorship and association with the right people. Because sometimes we get into business thinking that we know where we're going. Yeah. And we have expectations already that after 3 months, I'm expecting to have this amount of money.
Yeah.
And you don't have that. What happens then? You understand? So it's so important to seek mentorship as much as you can and association with the right people who have already made it in such industries as well. So milestones now. Let's talk about Doxa. We have seen you now move from that little space now to a more special space. I went there, I think a month ago. I was like, damn, guys, am I still in so white? Are you sure? You understand? So what are some of the few milestones that you've reached as Doxa and Kabod? And we'll talk more a bit later.
From its inception to now, there are a lot of things that we could see. I think we've branched out also into many companies that we are also running. So it's no longer just Doxa. I think COVID also taught us a big thing. Out of that challenge, we birthed another company that's Doxa Kids that deals with kids' clothes.
Yes.
So we branched out because at the time with COVID, if you're selling suits like I'm selling suits and all of that formal wear, you wouldn't open. So we realized, hey, we need something. So that's when we opened Doxa Kids so that we could offer everything that's kids. So we were able to stay open.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're open in that section of business, you could still sneak out a few suits here and there so that you can still leave.
Yes.
I don't know, I should have said that on air. Nobody's gonna take it. Say you were still opening it. so that's that. And secondly, at the time, we opened another company, a logistics company, to get things from abroad. Because now, one of the challenges that we had was that we couldn't get our things easily from across the borders.
Yes.
So we decided, hey, let's start a business that really deals with the issues, the problems that's there. I think one other thing, just to mention about a few, I just want to take a little bit step back into one of the challenges of business is that we get into business for wrong ideas, for wrong reasons, and for wrong purposes, and it's very key. I'm looking at it and reflecting. I'm like, I thank God that some of the businesses, in fact, all of the businesses that I started, they had a purpose. One, if you get into business because you see your neighbor doing it and somebody's thriving, and you think you'll also thrive, that's not a wrong crowded firm enough space for you to start a business. It's good, but you need dig deeper than that. It's a shallow foundation. One of the key things that we miss is that we don't start a business to answer to the problem that's there. So when we started to realize COVID is here, the shops are closed, that's when we realized we have a problem.
Yes.
The answer to that problem
How do we bridge
becomes a good start point for a business. Because if there's a problem and you answer to the problem, you don't have to worry about clients. You're solving a problem, then people be attracted to the solution that you're bringing. That's the right point to say, this is where I want to start a business. So I always say this, if Orekisa Moro and everyone else Orekisa Moro, why would we not Orekisa Moro because your neighbor is doing it? Why was a Habile Moro for a tried to remember some city? Or do it and say, if reclaim Mamona go fella, if you're thinking, if we talk like a Moro, and then we shall Morona go fella, spinach, spiley, whatever you call it, you're like, okay, Moro gonna have a ketofi. Price. Those are some of the things. But imagine how people are also how you don't have competitions. But I don't know how perfect. You understand? So that's another way to find out okay, how do I get out of that? And I think some of the milestones, back to the milestones, then we realized a lot of people have a much things. So I was like, okay, I love fancy cars. Why not buy a fancy car, drive one, but also people who are going for a wedding. Therefore, if people come in, but like I suit, let's say, since the groom and the groomsmen. So like, can't buy suits from us. We'll give you a car for free.
Oh.
No, like, we give you a car for free.
I should get married soon.
Right? You understand?
I should get married.
You gotta choose. We've got a classic car, we've got an old school car, now we've got variety. But now the idea is we're trying to say, look, we want to cement the idea, of people coming to the brand. What makes Doxa special?
Yes.
Why can't I just go anywhere else? Because you won't find a car for free if it's your wedding anywhere else.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So those are some of the milestones that we've reached. And I've seen that the more you advance, then you getting far away or further away from your competition.
Yeah.
So you end up at a point where you're not in a competition. You are like a sample where everybody can throw by about 12
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad about that. I see people copy what I do. When I do this, people try to do that. I'm like, this is a smart person. This is the way to go. You understand? So I start to see differently.
Yeah. I feel like as businesses grow, some of us we tend to think how whole market the business how because already people know my business. I know already I'll have clients in a day.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to market your business? Because I'm always following your journey as Doxa Kabod.
Yeah.
I've seen how you really market your business so much.
Yeah.
Even though you've grown so much now, why is it important to be consistent in the marketing of your business?
I want to say that your last breakthrough is your biggest enemy. In the sense that when you think you're there, that's when you relax.
Yes.
That's when the people behind you
catch up.
Yes. So for me, the mentality has always been out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. We've got big billboards for the companies of hotels and saying, what are this for? No. They're trying to keep you tuned. If I mention that company, you're like, oh, it's and China. And I think marketing works in the same way. To say, one of the things that we're really working on it's about brand visibility. Be visible, be everywhere. In any space where possible, be there. Let people know. Because maybe I don't need a suit today. Maybe they don't. But if somebody says, hey, I want a suit, it's like, Doxa. The first thing that comes to them is what they see a lot of times. Therefore, if you shy out or retreat a bit, or you regress in the aspect of marketing, people are going to forget about you. And you're going to think people are still coming, but you can do more. This is why I always think, like, if possible, get every billboard around town. When I do billboard, this one's ours. We can't let deleting come on and they'll always represent Doxa. Why? Because we're trying to pass a message to people that we are there, we exist. The have about to tell about them, Doxa, so this person knows about us. That's where we start. So I think marketing is like that. It's about understanding that brand visibility is very important. It's be there, be noted. You understand? Because once that's the problem. You understand?
I can really resonate to what you're saying. Yeah. I've been in this situation before.
Yeah. So for personal brand, you understand? Exactly. Don't let people forget you. Never let people.
We're about to just wrap up our conversation right now. So the main idea for you to come here is to sort of motivate Baba Nkante. Ilo qetelong ya letsatsi ha ba o bona ba ne ba re hile ke ka qala kgwebo ka lebaka la ditaba tse ke di kuleng kapa tse ke di boneng Doxa a di tsa re reng jwale bo batjha ka ntle ka mane ba dutseng ba nang le mehopolo ya ho qala dikgwebo le bona empa ba sa tse bona ebe ke qala jwang. How do I start? You understand? Reng ho bona like some words of motivation for them to start.
I think it starts with a vision where you want to go. Every time when you're building a house, and I always say, sometimes how a double story for a 2-room house.
Absolutely.
In the sense that, you start first, class before LD. And most people don't realize that in those times, so but you are below the surface, you're still building the groundwork. The foundation is the key thing. So start small wherever you are. Get that concept. What do you want to achieve? I want to get there, but start. Don't be afraid to start small. And it might not work for everybody, but I'm saying to somebody, you don't have enough funds right now. Have a Mukotwa can get you there. Start there. Somebody will recognize you and say, hey, you're doing a phenomenal job. try stock seeds, then you grow from there. Then before you know it, unale spaza shop. Before you know it, you have like a cafe. Before you know it, hey, look at this guy, they've got a supermarket. Before you know it, wholesale. People grow gradually into that, especially when they know where they're going. You understand? So I think that's one thing, as young people, wherever that we are, let's have a vision for where we're going. If you know where you're going, if you know what, don't be afraid to start wherever more Kalang because the groundwork in some way it's what's laying foundation for the bigger things that is coming. You understand? And Kalang yes. Understand what I'm trying to say? Everything else in Kalamuna helped you. So don't shy away from that. You get challenges. Look, I know very well. I know the pain I went through, how he said but not out of pride, but I'm saying I look at it now, the investment that I did in that area, and look at where I am now. It's not about being better than people, but I don't want to say it in a bad way, but I think when your goal is clear, I think also trainers our deep down there's that pains because maybe I wanted to achieve something. The goal was there, the vision was clear. So for somebody who's listening, start where you are. Start where you are. Start with what you have. We all have big goals. So like I want to my business, and maybe I'm going to 10,000. But no, man, you don't need 10,000. How you know how like that? Start something that will build gradually towards the 10,000. And I always say this even when I'm trying to 100 mutana 100 rand will be telling me I'm talking for 10,000 again. That $100 start from there. Register your pompom, you must start, don't shy away. Register your orange, just start there. This is why one of the things that I normally do is when I pass there, sometimes if I have like 200 notes, how can I like I just dash out like, yeah, are you selling?
Dash out today.
I mean,
are you serious?
Because I think we all need other people. We don't do it out of pride. But if 200 can go a long way for somebody, and that if Nagafana can afford a 200, somebody out there can afford to give you 10,000 because that's how I got a push into where I am today. So I'm like, if somebody recognizes, how do you go for 200? But if you're standing there, I'm like, I love what you're doing, my brother. Somebody gets a store, 200 again. That's something, you understand? So I'm saying be there in spaces where you are able to be comfortable, color as small as you can. Somebody will recognize that.
Lefa, Khanare, ladies and gentlemen. Man, this was absolutely inspirational.
Thank you.
This is why we had to have you today.
Thank you so
in
much.
10 seconds, where do we see Doxa Kabod and every other business that you're doing going in the next 5 years?
We're going places. If we don't do it globally, then I don't know what's stopping us. We're going to be in every city and also trying to produce for ourselves, and manufacture a lot of things for ourselves. So those are the kind of spaces that we want to see ourselves in.
Yeah.
It'll be happening soon enough.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lefa Khanare. However, you're not motivated today, I don't know what is going to work because this is why we are here at the end of the day, the entrepreneur. I mean, you're supposed to be motivated to sort of start a business for yourself that is going to live on for generations and generations to come. I hope you have learned a lot on this episode, marketing, mentorship, and all of that, because that is why we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are signing out until we meet again on the next episode. Mpho, we love you and God bless you.